again to Bree for letting me be in this video. I know it's very long, but trust me, it's amusing, so bear with me. I hope that you enjoy this video, and I will see you when my part comes around. Bye.
Well, I want to say 15 years old, and I was living with my parents, and I really wanted to go hang out with my friends. Bad. I had made plans with them, and I was ready to go. We were gonna, I don't even know, go to like some little like club for younger kids. I don't even remember, but regardless, I had plans and I was excited. Well, my dad said, no, you can't hang out with your friends until you've cleaned the swamp cooler. And I'm like, clean the what? What? And he's like, the swamp cooler. And I'm like, first of all, I don't clean. I'm a princess, because I was. And second of all, how the hell do you clean a swamp cooler? So he brings me to the roof of the house with a bucket and a rag. And he takes the filters out, and he's just like, I just want you to really get in there with the wet rag. Make sure it gets really wet and wipe it down. Get all the dirt and the nasty crap out of there. Just wipe it down as soon as it's clean. Once it's really clean, I'll let you go hang out with your friends. Well, he leaves, and I'm looking at this thing like, this is gonna take forever. I don't got time for that. So, I get this beyond brilliant idea. Oh my god, it's gonna save me so much time. I rush off the roof, go down to the side of the house and grab the hose of water. And I go back to the roof with the hose. And I'm just hosing down the swamp cooler. Just for a good 10 minutes. Really getting in there. Power hosing it with my thumb, like getting all the dirt and crap. It's like, my dad is gonna be stoked. Well, after I'm done, I turn the hose off. I get off the roof onto the deck. Because my dad's at Home Depot at this point. He said he'd be back. Well, I get on the deck and I look and I see our cat, the family cat, sitting inside. And he's looking at me with these giant eyes, and he's drenched in water. And I'm like, oh my god, Zeus, what happened? And I open the door, the sliding glass door, and I hear water running in the house. And I run around the corner, and the swamp cooler unit that's on the ceiling
you so much, Entangled with ASMR, for including me in this collab. I feel honored. So today, I'm gonna be tapping and sharing a quick embarrassing story. I guess for me, like, what really came to mind is anytime I embarrassed myself in front of a crush. So, my high school years were definitely a struggle for me in terms of dating. Like, I never had a boyfriend, but I always had crushes, really intense crushes. And I was just really, like, socially awkward, I guess. And I just didn't know how to talk to boys. And I just feel like I always made a fool of myself. I mean, it wasn't that bad looking back, but at the time, I was just really insecure and stuff like that. I just remember this one time I had a crush, and when he texted me, like, I don't know how it even started. We had Snapchat, and he asked to move, like, the conversation to, like, a real phone call where we're just talking to each other, instead of texting. And I was really nervous about that. So, when he called, I just felt so embarrassed, because, like, he was such a cool guy, and I think he didn't know that much about me, so he kind of maybe had higher expectations for me or something, I don't know. And I don't know, I just kind of, like, would try to, like, make funny jokes, and it sounded, like, better in my head, but in real life, it was not funny at all. And he would, like, ask me, like, if I ever sneak out, or, like, what bad things I've done. And I just didn't really have much to say, because it's not that I didn't want to do those things. I don't know, I never had the, like, opportunity to, I guess. So I just felt really lame, and that was really embarrassing for me. Because I just said, no, I'm pretty good. Like, I didn't do anything bad. I've never done that. Because he had just gotten his phone taken away for, like, smoking weed or something. And I just felt so, like, uncool. But yeah, there would just be a few other times with the same guy over text where I would just say really stupid things, and instantly I would regret it, because I was, like, so nervous talking to him that, you know, when you're really nervous and you just say things you don't mean, or, like, things that you're just not thinking when you say it. Like, I remember one time he said that his dog had died, like, he posted on his story, I don't know, and then, like, a week later, he, like, posted a video of, like, a dog that looked like the same dog, and I replied to his story and said, I thought your dog died. I felt so stupid when I said that, because obviously, yes, the dog died, but that was his other dog. It's funny that I'm talking about this. I feel like that's such a detailed, like, thing, such a specific memory, but it's something that, like, I don't think of now ever, but for a while I would, like, think about from time to time, and just feel so much, like, embarrassment in my head, like, cringe, like, why did I do that? But it's definitely been a while. And yeah, there were just a few other times where I would say stupid things. But yeah, high school was definitely a rough time for me, and made me very insecure, but I feel like I'm a much different person now, and I'm really happy, like, that I grew from it and stuff like that. So, anyways, that's all I can think of right now.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fairy Hollow. I am ASMR Whispering Fairy, and tonight I am going to be participating in a collab. So I'm going to be tapping on my Winnie the Pooh mug, and I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story. Right after college, I got a job at a retail store in the mall. I got a Bachelor of Science degree from a private university, and I thought I was super smart and that I knew a lot. I think a lot of us come out of university thinking that we know so much. So I got out of college right after 9/11, and there was a hiring freeze for government agencies, and so I knew that I had to make some money, and it didn't bother me that I was working at a mall because I was working. And after that, I ended up working as a makeup artist, which I loved, and that's a story for another day. But I walked into the store. I had worked my way up to a key holder position, and normally when you leave the store at night, you shut off the circuit breakers, and that turned the lights off in the store. But it kept the light in the back room on, and I walked in the next morning, and all the lights were out in the whole store. So me, of course, being a science person, started to think, okay, how can we do this? How can we, what's going on? So I went in there and I flipped all the switches on the circuit breakers, and the lights in the main store came on, but the lights in the back room didn't come on. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I climbed all the boxes and I checked the other circuit breakers and the fuse, and I thought maybe we blew a fuse, and I called my manager, who was on her way in anyway, and she said, okay, I'll be there to help you check out. In the meantime, I replaced the light bulb. That didn't work. I replaced the fuse. That didn't work. I tried flipping the circuit breakers again, and that didn't work. I went into the bathroom and that light worked, and I was hemming and hawing, and here I am, new graduate, thought I was super smart, and my boss walked in, and she looked at me and she said, and she kind of cocked her head, and she said, hey, did you try the light switch? I swear to God, you guys, she reached behind one of the boxes, flipped the light switch, and the light came on. So there's a couple of lessons here in this completely embarrassing story. One, I felt like an idiot because I thought I was a genius. Clearly, book smart. All I need to do is flip a light switch. You are never too good for any job. You are never as smart as you think you are. And always be able to laugh at yourself, because it has been nearly 15 years, and I can still laugh at that story. I told my husband this story for the first time the other night, and he just looked at me and busted out laughing. So that's my embarrassing story. I will always remember that day. And so when you think the problem is super hard, think about, did you try the easiest solution? Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. I am ASMR Whispering Fairy. fly safe.
Hey guys, it's Chris ASMR here, and today I'm gonna share with you guys my embarrassing story. So I was in high school in junior year, if I recall, and I was wearing braces, and it was that time of my treatment where I had to wear elastics and change them every time I eat or whatever. So it was after lunch where I had ASL, which is American Sign Language, and my professor was actually deaf. So basically he would make us do projects and talk in front of the class. So there's this assignment where basically he made us like say the word, which it could be whatever word, and stand up and actually show the class how you express it. It's the word. And so my word was scream, and at that time I was very conscious because scream, you have to actually say the whole word, like scream, and then you have to say express your face. In American Sign Language, every time you say some word, you gotta make sure that it makes sense. So if you're sad, you cannot just have a whatever, a happy face. So if you're scream, my word was scream, so I had to actually put my face like I'm screaming, so it was like loud. So I had my elastics on, and for some odd reason I didn't want to do it, and I did say like that, and he was like, no, bigger, it's Simon, do it. And I was like, I can't. And whatever, I felt peer pressured, and my elastic popped inside my mouth, and before I even did the correct expression, and he was like, what's going on, and I was like, my elastic popped, and all the class laughed. Okay, like everybody laughed, and I even laughed because it was just so embarrassing, and so I laughed. So once I was in senior year, I said bye to him, and he remembers me as the braces girl. He would always be like, like every time you'll see me in the hallways, he'll like, you're the girl who popped elastic. So I really miss him. I really miss the class, and I was a lot fluent before, but things changed, and maybe I'll do a ASMR about it. But yeah, that was my story. It's very short, but it was very embarrassing for me, so I hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Hey everyone, I guess it's about that time to talk about one of my embarrassing stories. So I will be tapping on this hourglass because we are going back in time. worked a lot, and I was mainly home with my mom most of the time. So I wasn't exposed to a lot of different sports. Well, what happened was my neighbor knocked on my door and asked if I would like to go out and play, and that they were going to be playing baseball. So now I was only 10, so I really wasn't allowed to do much, but my mother didn't mind if I went next door because it was literally the neighbor right next door, and their parents were outside, and my mother could literally peek her head out the window if she wanted to watch me. So she let me go. Well, to my surprise, they were playing a baseball, and I had no idea how to play baseball. Like, absolutely none. But being 10 years old and, you know, ecstatic to play with other kids, I was like, I'll learn. This won't be hard. So the father was teaching me about the bases. Like, okay, you have to run first, second, third, and fourth. Okay. So that was really the extent of the training and the background knowledge that I was given on baseball. So during the game, it was my turn, you know. I swung the bat, I hit the ball went flying. I was in my glory. I was like, whoa, look what I did, right? I was all excited, like, wow, I got that far. So the father's like trying to coach me, and he's like, okay, run to the bases, run to the bases. So I run, I get to first base. He's like, keep going, run to the other base. So now I'm like, oh, that's what he was saying. I have to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So I run from first base to second base, right? I get to second base, I'm like, okay, now I gotta get to third base. So I run to third base. I just want to say this is why I never played sports. So I think this situation traumatized me, and that's why I never just engaged in sports after this. So anyway, I get to third base, and he's like, keep running, go to fourth, go. And like, he's rooting for me, this guy, and he's like, you could do it, go. And I was like, wow, I can't let him down, you know. And also, just a side note, I took, you know, adults, like, I was very respectful as a child. I mean, I still am now, but whatever an adult said, especially like an authoritative adult, or if someone was watching me, I always listened to them. I never gave anyone a hard time. So, you know, like, I didn't want to let this guy down either, because he's like, you're doing great, keep going, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, alright, fine. So anyway, I run to fourth, and all of a sudden, he starts screaming at me. He's like, run home. And I'm like, why is this dude screaming at me to run home? I thought I did a good job. I thought I did 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, come on, like, hello. The ball went flying. I ran all the bases. Like, why is this guy screaming at me? I literally did everything I was supposed to do, and now you're telling me to run home. Like, is the game over? Did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? So now I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this guy's yelling at me. Like I don't know what to do. He just keeps telling me to run home. So if you haven't already guessed it, I literally ran home. Like, I ran out of the backyard, ran straight out of the gate, popped to left, ran like 5 feet, made another left, and ran up the steps to my house, ran into my house hysterically crying. So now my mom's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, Ma, the dad, he yelled at me. He was yelling at me to run home. He was screaming at me, and I had to run home. I don't think he wants me to play anymore. Well, let me tell you something. My mother was confused out of her mind. She's like thinking to herself, why would this guy tell me to run home if they wanted me to go out and play? So 2 seconds later, the doorbell rings, and the dad's at the door, and he's like, I'm so sorry. bases, and she thought she had to run back to you. And now that I'm thinking about it, I was screaming it at her, so I think I scared her. Well, let me tell you this much. I was curled up into a ball, hysterically crying, and I was so embarrassed when I found out that running home meant completing all the bases, and I definitely was not going back out with all of those kids there after I literally embarrassed the crap out of myself. So my mother kept telling me, go outside, go, you could go back and play, go. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I am not going. I was so mad, and I was like, you know what, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to go back out there and pretend like I didn't just run home, like literally run to my house and mess up the whole game for these like kids who are really into baseball. So that is the most embarrassing story that has ever happened to me. And like I said, it is definitely a blast from the past, and I don't think that if I rewind time it would have played out any differently, because I was clueless at the game and he really didn't explain everything to me properly. So, especially being 10 and I wasn't exposed to baseball. But I basically never played a sport game, I think, after that. Maybe in high school, but that was basically it for me. And running home. A month after that, I didn't want my neighbors to even see me because of how embarrassed I was. But when I finally saw their father, he came up to me and apologized, and he's like, you did such a great job, and I'm sorry I didn't explain it right. I assumed that you knew what you were supposed to do. And basically more or less tried to make me feel better about how ridiculous I was for running home. But thinking back on it, I feel so bad for myself because it was embarrassing, but I was so innocent and so naive, and I really didn't know what I was supposed to do. But all I know is that I felt so upset initially, but then that upset feeling turned into such an embarrassment afterwards when I found out what run home really meant besides running to my house. Well, that is my embarrassing story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed this hourglass that just represents time. And to think that that story happened to me 21 years ago is mind-boggling, because it felt like yesterday, especially how vivid my memories were from that day. I hope you enjoyed.
Hello. It's me, K-O-A-S-M-R. How are you doing today? I hope fine. So today I will be tapping on one of my favorite perfumes. This is Gucci Guilty Intense by Gucci. So I will be tapping on this and making sounds while telling you an embarrassing story of mine. So I hope you enjoy it. In high school, I played sports. I played basketball and softball. And on the softball team, I was the catcher. So I would stand behind the batter, and I would catch the balls from the pitcher. So in this one particular game, it was an away game, so we were playing at a different school, so many, I can't even. I am naturally accident prone and clumsy. So I don't know, like I could be here for days. So I guess I will tell you probably one of the most embarrassing moments that traumatizes me, keeps me up at night, is a source of my like late night anxiety. Yeah, and it's like so basic, but when I was like, I want to say like second or first grade, I know, so long ago, I had a favorite pencil and I used it like 24/7, and my pencil happened to break one day when I was home doing homework, and I like was bawling and sobbing about it, and my grandma came up with the idea of just taping it, and I went along with it. So it was funny because in the house we had no tape. Like my grandma went looking around everywhere and she couldn't find any tape. Then my uncle happened to have some electrical tape. And if you've ever seen electrical tape, it's like bright black tape and kind of rubbery, so it's very thick. And my uncle brought the electrical tape to my grandma and she taped my pencil back together. So for the time being, I was really happy and used my pencil, and I even still took it to school. So one day, for some reason, I can't even think why, I had my pencil in my hand walking through the playground to my classroom. I ended up dropping my pencil in front of a bunch of people, like standing in line waiting for their class, for their teacher to let them in. And everybody in the line saw my taped pencil, my electric taped pencil, and for some reason everybody laughed at me. I don't even know why. Like, I honestly, it traumatizes me till this day. I hope that you enjoyed my embarrassment.
Hi everyone. So I thought it was fitting asked each of us how we felt after taking a sip from this mysterious drink. My one sister had said she felt fine. Another sister said she didn't feel so good. A little bit nauseous, in fact. And the other sister said they felt fine. When they asked me, I said I felt very dizzy and very tipsy, actually. One sip was all it took for me to feel this way. And they all laughed. And they ended up telling us that the only thing that was in that drink was fruit juice. I guess it was the sister's way of testing us and our trustworthiness. But I could have sworn that there was alcohol in that drink. Now that was just one of the things they did to make you feel embarrassed. It was part of the hazing ritual, part of your entry to become a sorority sister. Now for any of those of you who have joined a sorority or a fraternity, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. They don't mean harm, but they definitely want to humiliate you. There are other instances as well, where, as a pledge, I couldn't walk on grass. I was on a large campus, and buildings were far apart, and they knew if you walked on grass, it would be short. It would be a shortcut to get to your next class. So, a couple of my friends were walking on the grass, and they were like, "Why don't you come along? It's easier this way." And I blatantly ignored them. I had to walk on the pavement. But the real kicker of this story is, after I was done pledging, we were told by the rest of the sisters that were already in that my pledge class was the longest to pledge. 2 months, to be exact. Other classes had only pledged for 4 to 6 weeks, and they took advantage of the fact that my pledge class was very, very eager to be a part of the sorority. Needless to say, that time was probably one of the most embarrassing times in my college life. But no regrets, right? No regrets.
embarrassing story about ourselves and do a little bit of tippy tapping. I am going to tap on my cell phone. I love the sound that my phone case makes. So, to get started with my embarrassing story, so this happened 2 years ago. Wasn't 2 years ago, maybe 3. But I was at my parents' house and we were sitting in the backyard, just having some cocktails and chit-chatting and catching up. It was me, my mom, my sister, and my dad outside. My stepdad and my son were inside. My dad was in town visiting from the East Coast, and so we were all just having like a nice evening at home. My stepdad was watching my son inside, just for some like background. My stepdad is one of the most calm people I've ever met. So calm. So if he's kind of in like a panic mode, then you would know that he's serious, like something bad is happening, is how I look at him. So we're all sitting outside, but he is inside with my son, and all of a sudden I hear him say Grace, which my name is Grace, and I hear him say it in a way that's like something is wrong, and I literally jump out of the chair that I'm in and start running as fast as I can to get into the house because I think something is wrong with my son. There was a sliding glass door leading in from the outside to the living room area where my son and stepdad were. So I go booking it, and I can tell that the sliding glass door is open, and so there's a glass piece and then there's like a screen piece. From where I am standing as I'm running, I think that both of those are open completely. But no, I was completely wrong. Just the glass part was open, but the screen part was shut, and I couldn't tell because it was so dark outside. So I am running full speed, and I smack right into the screen door. Not only do I just smack into the screen door, I completely wipe it out. The screen door goes flying into the house, smacks into our piano. Mind you, my force, like I am still moving inward into the house. I smack into a side glass table, and the table goes flying. I went flying and literally land like face plant almost onto hardwood floor, almost on top of this little glass table, and I am just standing there like, what the F just happened? And then I look up, and my stepdad is standing there like, oh my god, what just happened? Why did you run in here? And I was like, I thought something was wrong with Noah. Like, you never sound like that. And so I just freaked out and started running. And he literally okay, but just in tears laughing because literally our screen door was wiped out. The table was broken. Whatever was on the table went flying. It looked like a freaking hurricane came through that room, and I'm still just laying on the floor in so much pain. Like, you've got to be kidding me. So now it's a joke that Grace better watch out for screen doors, and my stepdad put a piece of blue painter's tape on the spot eye level for me, so I know very clearly and very easily when the door is shut, so we don't repeat that moment. So that was so embarrassing, so awful, but I mean really funny in hindsight, but like in the moment it was a disaster. But I hope that you enjoyed and have a lovely rest of your day.
Hi, hello. This is Moonlight Tingles, and you are now entangled with ASMR. I'm just kidding, but hello. My name is Moonlight Tingles, and I am also an ASMR artist. And I want to thank Bree. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this collab. I originally didn't think that I would have time to film, but I made time because I just really wanted to be a part of this, and I was so honored that you asked me. But anyways, what Bree has said is that this video's theme is going to be all of us ASMR artists tapping on various items while telling a embarrassing story. And boy do I have an embarrassing story for you. So this is a story involving rejection and crushes and just really insecure little Moonlight, which is me. But okay, so right now I'm a senior in high school, and this happened in freshman year. So yeah, about 3 years ago. And my taste in guys has always been very weird. Like, I don't like the guys that you expect all the girls would go crazy for, like that little one introverted nerd in the corner. That's who I'll be crushing on. I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm really crazy and weird and loud, so I like the opposite, someone very quiet and shy. I don't know, but in freshman year, I like this guy called Gabriel. I hope he's not watching this because, yes, it is his name. But, yeah, so that was his name. And right now, my current boyfriend, his name is Gabriel, which is very weird. I promise I didn't try to make that happen, but he's completely different from my current boyfriend. So, I was a freshman, he was a sophomore, and Gabriel was a very introverted, shy person. He, to be honest, barely hung out with anyone. He liked the game, he was always at home. And I never saw him with anybody except for like 1 or 2 friends. And they were all the gamer friends that all did Discord, all just basically this guy's name was Eddie. So his friend's name is Eddie. And I asked Eddie how I should ask him out, but Eddie just proceeded to tell me, which was pretty weird. Don't ask Gabriel out. Gabriel is a horrible human being when it comes to girls. He always makes them cry. One time he called a girl fat. You do not want to go for him. So basically, he gave me no advice. And I was left like hanging there. I was like, okay, but I'm not gonna let what somebody else told me affect my perception of a guy I don't even know. So I was still going for Gabriel, right? And usually I sit at lunch with Eddie, Gabriel, and a few other friends of mine. So next day at lunch we were just eating peacefully, and out of nowhere, suddenly Eddie just brought up the fact that I was interested in him. He was like, Eddie was like, Gabriel, I think somebody here wants to take you to homecoming. And Gabriel suddenly was like, I don't even want to go to homecoming. And then he basically looked around, and then his eyes fixated on me. And I was all shocked, and I was turning red, and I was like, if he was gonna know that I was interested in him, I wanted to tell him myself, but instead Eddie told him. Honestly, I was really like just pissed and just really embarrassed. But here comes the worst part. All this time since Gabriel was always alone, barely like didn't hang out with anybody except for Eddie. I thought he was single. Turns out he had a girlfriend, and they were in a long distance relationship, which I had no idea. So basically I was crushing on a guy who was completely unavailable. He had a girlfriend and he was completely uninterested in me. And yeah, I basically just got turned down. He was like, you could tell that it was me, and he was like, I have a girlfriend. And then Eddie was like, oh, right, like he forgot to tell me or something. And then Gabriel was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, what? And then Gabriel was like, yeah, it's a long distance relationship. Sorry if you wanted to go with me or something. So yeah, you can just imagine how awkward that was. Everybody was silent, just looking at both of us, and I eventually got really embarrassed, and I turned red, and I literally ran away. But yeah, right now I am happily in a relationship. It's going to be our 6-month anniversary soon. But yeah, that was a time I do not want to relive. Okay. But thank you, Brianna, for allowing me to be a part of this amazing collab. And I hope that you sleep well. If you are not subscribed already, subscribe. What the heck are you doing? And yeah, good night. Hello, my little voyagers. How you doing today? I just remembered that time when I got invited to a party, and then told me there was a costume party. So I turned up dressed up as Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus, with a big white wig, a fluffy shirt, ridiculous trousers, thick white stockings, and a very uncomfortable pair of shoes.
party people, Mr. ASMR Boy here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for having me a part of this collab. What I got here is some Palo Santo, all natural. It's an enchanting tree that grows on coastal areas of South America. You burn the wood. It's supposed to rid the bad energy. But I know that we are sharing a embarrassing story, so that is what I am here to do. So I haven't shared this story with many people, but I will share it with you. And I apologize if you guys can hear any background noise, as my neighbors are very loud. I live in like a busier part of the city, so my most embarrassing, and don't tell anybody please, embarrassing story happened in 2015. This was December of 2015, and I went to go have sushi with one of my good friends and maybe about 10 of his other really good friends too. And we went and had some sushi at a restaurant called Nico. And so I got a sashimi platter. I ate the entire platter, and I usually, luckily, knock on wood, I do pretty well with sashimi. This is the only time I've had that issue and ate it. My buddy lost a bet, had to get his nipples pierced. And so after we ate, we all caravanned to the tattoo shop. And at the tattoo shop, I started getting really hot and sweaty. And all of a sudden, like 0 to 100, I felt like I was going to poop my pants. And there was no bathroom that was available. So, yeah, right, like at a tattoo parlor, there's no bathroom. Luckily, I didn't live too far away. I lived maybe like 12 minutes away from this location. In the middle of my friends getting their nipples pierced, I just dip out on everybody and don't tell anyone that I'm leaving. Hopped in my ride and drove like 70 down the streets to get home. And I hate to admit to this part, but I didn't make it home. I legit pooped my pants when I was about 4 minutes away from the house, and I was about 24 at this time, or 23, 24, something like that. It was pretty awful, and my phone fell underneath my seat, and so my phone was missing for like an hour. Okay, and that is a freaking airplane. I apologize, you guys. There's an airport like maybe 3 miles away. But yeah, so my friends thought I died basically because they were calling and texting me, and I was not answering and picking up because I had my issue that I had to take care of, which was not a good one. So that is my most embarrassing story, and all my family knows about it. A majority of my friends know about it at this point, and I'm not proud of it, but it happened, and I just wanted to share that with you. party people, Mr. ASMR Boy. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this collab. I will talk to you all soon. Peace. Oh yeah, don't forget, don't tell anybody about that.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. And welcome, welcome, welcome to my part in this collab. Thank you so much to Bree for reaching out to me. You are amazing and so sweet, and I love your ASMR. Definitely make sure to go check out everybody's channel in this collab. So, our task was to tell a personal or embarrassing story. So, I had to dig deep for this one because I am just a very, very clumsy person, and the amount of embarrassing stories that I have, it's huge. So, I have two embarrassing stories for you guys. Both happened a while ago. But basically, both of them actually involve crushes because obviously, what else could I do than embarrass myself in front of every single crush that I've ever had? So, yeah. So, firstly, me and my friends, this was years ago, so I hope that I can remember it correctly. But me and my friends, let me tap on something else really quickly. Me and my friends went to the local pool that we have here in Germany, and I knew that my crush was going to be there. I was really, really excited to see him, and we went with like a whole group. So we were swimming and everything, and my bikini top always like slips and slides everywhere. So I don't know why I didn't recognize the problem with having such a bikini top in front of my crush, but I didn't. So basically, I thought I would impress him and like do a really cool flip. I'm not even sure if it was a flip. If it was a flip, but I did some kind of jump into the water, and when I got out, I don't know how I didn't realize this, but when I got out, my bikini top had come undone, and it was just hanging everywhere, and you could see everything. Literally everybody saw everything. Fun times, honestly. And then the second story is the same crush, ironically. I guess that's why he never became my boyfriend. But chocolate. But basically, my school has like really, really high stairs, or it used to. I don't go to school anymore. But it had really, really high stairs, and we were just walking, and I saw that he was walking behind me, so I tried like acting all cool and talking to my friends and laughing, like, you know, that thing girls do.
she couldn't leave me alone, obviously. I was very young. So she took me with her. We got to the mall. We bought everything that we needed. Until here, everything was fine and went very smoothly. was so scared that I threw a rock at them. Luckily, it didn't hit them. It just hit the ground. But they were still very upset. So they told the teacher. And where did I go to hide? Yes, behind the big tree. And could the teacher and the two little girls find me? Nope. They looked behind the monkey bars, the slide, the swings, nothing. They could not find me. So, moral of the story, kids will be kids. They will do stupid stuff, but they learn from it, and apparently it scars you for life, because I remembered something that happened to me when I was younger. So yeah, so that's my embarrassing story. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I can't wait to watch everybody else's embarrassing stories. Love you guys.
Well, hello there. So my channel name is Dukes ASMR, and I thought for this collab I would do almost like a little haircut, and I guess a story time. Feel free to check out my channel, Dukes ASMR. So, I guess my story would be, when I was a child, maybe about, I think, 5 or 6 years old. My grandma used to call me Hell on Wheels. She would call me Hell on Wheels. Now, this is because I was a rambunctious child. For example, she told me about one time when we were at the grocery store, and I was sitting in the little child seat, and you know, the child seat of the cart or trolley or whatever you want to call it. But the shopping cart was right next to the tomatoes, and she turned around to get something, and as soon as she turned around, I went and stuck my finger in every tomato that I could as fast as I can. And when my grandma turned back around, she almost had a heart attack. I guess she ended up telling a store employee about what happened. I guess they did not have her pay for any of it, which was nice of them. But yeah, I guess I just ruined a whole bunch of tomatoes. So that was just maybe a funny little story I had there, and I just thought it'd be nice to do some haircut scissor type of video. I post videos 3 times a week on my channel, Duke's ASMR. So, thanks for clicking on this collab, and thank you everyone for being a part of it. And thank you, Entangled with ASMR, for doing this. Alright, you take care, and I really hope to see you soon. Alright, bye-bye.
Hey, it's May from May's ASMR. Thank you to Entangled with ASMR for asking me to be a part of this collab. I am really grateful. If you guys are seeing this on her channel, then hi, I'm May. If not, if you're seeing it on my channel, then you can go check everyone out, and I'll put everything in the description box. So, my embarrassing or awkward story is from when I was learning how to drive, and this was last year, right? I was learning how to drive a manual transmission car, and my driving instructor was basically this like straight edge, very macho dude, and he was in the military, and he was in, you know, like just into manly stuff, right? And I was like, okay, but I'm not the one who chose him. He just, you know, got assigned randomly to me, and I was like, okay, fine. And yeah, so I was so bad at driving that I almost got us killed. It's not funny, but, well, maybe it was funny at the moment. Not at the moment, but after the fact. So basically, this was one day before I was supposed to take my final exam to get my license. And, you know, he was preparing me and everything, and I get in the car, and he was like, okay, listen, like, this is the final, you know, like, practice session before your exam tomorrow. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he was like, okay, so let's drive. So we were driving, and everything was fine, and then he took me to this really narrow road, and I'm talking, like, really narrow. Barely one car can fit, right? And he was telling me, okay, so at the end of this road, you just have to take a left. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that, not a problem. So I took a left, and then he was like, okay, take another left after that. So the road got narrower and narrower, right? And then there was a point where, like, my visibility wasn't so great, so I couldn't really see that well. And at the end of the road, there was this big SUV car. It was like one, I don't know, cars. It was basically really big. And he was like, take a left, you know, after the car was here, and the other car was, like, I was supposed to go here, and this is where the car was. I was like, yeah, sure. And then in my head, I'm like, yeah, I can make it. Don't worry, I got this in the bag. And I go, and I'm, you know, messing with the gears, because, you know, with manual transmission, it turns off if you don't get the right gear and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, I got this. So I make the turn, right? As I'm making the turn, I guess I overestimate or overshoot, because the other car was big. So I tried to overestimate it, and I kind of just get on the sidewalk, and there was like a massive pole, and the car was going at, like, I don't know, like 40 kilometers per hour. That's quite a lot for, you know, like, really small street. And basically I almost got us killed. There was a massive pole, and then he just pressed on the brakes real quick, and he just like looked at me, and I was just looking straight ahead. I didn't even want to make eye contact with him, because he was really scary, man. I did not want to, you know what I mean? He was like one of those intimidating type of dudes. I was like, oh my god, and I was just there like staring, you know, and he was just staring at me like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you trying to get us killed? And he started yelling. He's like, man, what is this? You always do this. And I'm like, oh my god, no, I'm so sorry, no, stop. But yeah, so he did that, and he was like, and then, you know, we went, and he asked me to park somewhere, and then he just looked at me. He's like, you do know your exam's tomorrow, right? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he like sighs, and then he goes, okay, you know what, May, I believe in you. It's not like I don't believe in you, but I'm just saying, should you fail, don't, you know, like, it's okay, it happens. I'm like, why are you saying that? And in my head, I knew, like, yeah, you know. And guess what? In the final exam, I ended up failing because it was supposed to go straight and then take a left turn, but there was incoming traffic, and, you know, rule of traffic, or, you know, whatever the hell,
it's like you're supposed to let the passer-ons, you know, go by. Well, I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna go first. So I tried to go, and then he stopped the car, and he just looked at me. He's like, really? And then the guy who, what does he do? The guy who, like, you know, passes you or fails you. He was like, yeah, okay, you failed. This B failed. Get the fuck out. Bye. And yeah. But so that was my embarrassing story, and it will haunt me to the rest of my days. But thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Hi guys, it's CeCe ASMR here. Thanks so much, Bree, Entangled with ASMR, for this amazing idea of a collaboration. My embarrassing story, I'm sure I have a few, but the one that came to my mind is the most recent one that happened, I want to say 6 weeks ago, more or less. Anyways, I've been going to this lake that we have here in Los Angeles, and there's like a park, and people go there to jog or just walk or ride their bikes around the lake. And I've been going like at least once a week with one of my best friends and her son, who's my godson. He's 5 years old, and he's the best thing that ever happened in my life. I'm crazy about him. So I have a bike that is more like a mountain bike, and the brakes are here on the handle. And my friend has 2 beach cruisers, and they are those that you have to brake, you have to pedal backwards in order to brake and stop. And I had never ridden a bike like that before, but I got it pretty quickly the first time I went with them. But I'm still getting the hang of, like, when I'm starting to pedal, when I'm starting how can I put this, like when I'm starting to ride, you know, from stopped to moving. And I'm still getting the hang of it, and sometimes I lose my balance a little bit. And then a few times after I had already ridden the bike and I knew the drill and everything, one day I got into the bike, and it was right in the beginning of our ride, and I don't know what hit me, that it was like this little downhill kind of thing, and I usually push the bike all the way into the entrance, up to the entrance of the road that goes around the lake, and I just hop on the bike then, and my brain just didn't work fast enough. And I think because when I'm going to put my feet on the pedal, I lose balance. I was so afraid of getting my feet off the floor and putting them on the pedals in order to pedal backwards to be able to stop the bike. So I literally couldn't, and then I started going downhill without being able to put my feet up on the pedals, and I was just like, oh my god, 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 oh my god. And there was this wall, and I totally crashed onto the wall. It was so embarrassing. There was a lot of people there. Everybody saw me going like that, and my godson, he watched me do the whole thing, and at the end he was just like, can you do that again? Like he thought I was putting a show or something. Anyways, I almost broke my pinky because I turned the bike and I hit the wall with my left hand, and it was awful. It was pretty embarrassing. Anyways, thank you so much, Bree, for this opportunity. I love all of you. I'm so honored to be part of this collab.